together, we will win.
All together, we will win.
All together, we will win.
All together, we will win.
Unity is the key word in this situation, my friends. The West has been plagued by disunity for too long. We cannot allow the terrorist regimes of Russia, North Korea and Iran to always take initiative, to always make the first move, to always draw the first blood. We cannot allow that any longer. We need to bring down their influence at long last, so that they are not able to hurt any more people than they already have, and that they will hurt in the future for certain. They've already laid their plans bare in front of us. We can see what they've done, we can see what they're doing, we can see what they will do in the future. Why must we wait for the moment that they get to kill? When a man who has killed in the past comes to the street with a big knife and starts shouting he's going to kill more people, do we wait for him to start the killing, to imprison him? Do we say we should negotiate with him, we should be nice to him? Do we perhaps say that we should allow him to kill one or two people just to appease him, just to make him stop doing what he's doing? No, we stop him immediately. We either call the police or we stop him ourselves. What good are the good intentions of the West if they are not backed by any kind of strength, any kind of conviction, any kind of power? The West can preach about its ideology day and night, and Russia will still continue to ignore all of those pleas and to laugh in the face of the Western world, of our free world, whilst continuing their genocides. Words will not work on those who refuse to listen. Words will never work on Russia. Only action, only consequences, only force. Strength is the only language that the Russians understand. And that is the language that we need to start speaking with them right now. We are moving towards that, but we're moving there very slowly, my friends. People die every day in Ukraine because of the Russian aggression. And people around the world die because of the Wagner Group and the many Russian proxies that they control. In Mali, Niger, Sudan, Burkina Faso, all of these countries have a big presence of the Wagner Group, of neo-Nazis who go to these African countries with the intent to supposedly liberate them. Now that is funny. That's comedic. I'm sure Prigozhin would laugh if he were not killed by Putin for talking a little bit too much, for spreading a little bit too many truths, inconvenient truths about the Russian regime. Because as we all well know, Prigozhin has said it loud and clear that the point of this war, started by the Russian terrorist regime, was never to liberate the so-called Russian speakers in Ukraine, but to enrich the Russian elites. That was the whole point ever since the beginning. And that is why he died. That is why he was killed. He was put down like a mad dog who bit the hand that was feeding him, Putin's hand. And that is what's going to happen to every single individual who preaches isolationism, non-interventionism, and negotiations with Russia. They will be betrayed and they will be destroyed by the Russian terrorist regime at the first opportunity that they will get. If you side with a psychopath because of unrealistic promises, and then you get betrayed by that same psychopath, well, I am sorry, but in reality, it's truly a foolish game to play. And as the saying goes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But I guess many people still want to play the same game that Prigozhin did, and to win the same stupid prize that he has won at the end of his career and, consequently, of his life. We must not repeat the same mistakes of the past, because to do the same thing over and over again whilst expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And we must stay away from the ranks of the insane, the ranks of these Z-zombies who point the finger at anybody who disagrees with them and call them Nazi, whilst shilling and defending the Soviet Union that started World War II on the same side as the Nazis. It's funny, truly, when these individuals make these arguments without actually knowing what they're truly talking about. And speaking of which, we've had particularly interesting experiences with some of our opposition. Some people on the far right, some people on the far left. Obviously, the extremes oppose us because we stand for centrism. We stand for moderation. We stand for a better world. They don't understand that. They fail to grasp more complex points because they're manipulated by simplistic lies. We have spoken many times with these so-called conservatives who claim that helping Ukraine means no benefit to them. That helping Ukraine is unreasonable because it's not their war. It's a foreign affair. It's not their problem. Well, my friends, many people were saying Hitler was not their problem. And this is the really funny part about all of these conservative isolationists. This is my personal favorite, I'll admit to all of you, my friends. When a country that does not border them gets attacked, they close their eyes, they plug their ears, and they say, not my problem, that's not my country. When the next country gets attacked by the same exact expansionistic force that attacked the first one, they continue the same thing. They say, not my problem, not my country. When that expansionistic force reaches their border and amasses forces ready to attack them, they say, not my country, not my problem. And then, what a surprise! They get attacked, they get beaten, they get dominated, they get destroyed. Because they did not prepare. Because prevention, my friends, is the best cure. And these isolationists are the antithesis to prevention. These isolationists will throw every single one of you under the bus at the first opportunity. Same way as happened with the Brexit vote. Look at all the promises made. How many of them were fulfilled? How is this country now that it left the EU? The Russians were laughing at the situation in which Great Britain was back then, when they accepted the Brexit vote. But what truly were the benefits? None. And that is the funny part. It's a funny world we live in, truly. When you ask a hardcore Brexiteer, what were the benefits of Brexit? He says that there's potential. Well, where is that potential? The economy got worse, society got worse, less investment, less money, less trade, less cooperation, less trust. The trust was the main thing that suffered with the Brexit vote. Because the foreign countries looked at the UK and saw an unstable country. Because the choice to do Brexit is an unstable, irresponsible and impulsive choice.
And somebody sent it to me.
And it should never be repeated again. Every single time one of these dysfunctional ways forward rise up, one of these insane politicians starts to speak more loudly, you can bet that the Russians are paying him, that the Russians are trying to make sure that he sows as much dissent as possible within their enemies, within the countries they see as their foes. Because make no mistake, Russia is not neutral to this country, and it never was. If anybody thinks that they are, watch the Russian state propaganda for just a few minutes, and you will see that they speak about the Anglo-Saxons as the worst people on earth, as this so-called evil race that is taking over the world. That is how they see the British people. That is how they see the American people. That is how they see the West.
fill the toilets.
And my friends, only fools would ignore such claims. Only fools would ignore pure, unadulterated hatred coming towards you from those who you have done nothing wrong. And that is exactly what the Russians are doing. They're preparing for the next move. And the next move will not be far away to the future, my friends. You can be sure of that. Nobody was expecting that the Russians would invade Ukraine. Everybody thought it was an insane move. Well, they have done it anyway. Nobody's expecting now that Russia would invade NATO. It would be an insane move, they say. Well, my friends, Russia has already gotten away with a few insane moves in the past. How many more insane moves must we allow them to commit until we finally start to act? Until we finally take initiative back from the terrorist regimes of this world, and until we finally move to a better world, for a better future, a future of trade and prosperity, of international cooperation, where the agreements made among different countries need to be upheld and cannot be ignored because of whims and wishes of self-serving politicians. That is the future that we envision. A future of nuclear demilitarization, and not of nuclear saber rattling, not of nuclear genocide, as Russia has threatened the West countless times with, and continues to threaten it as we speak. That is not the future we want, my friends. We want a better future for our children and for the future generations of our countries and of everybody else. The Ukrainian people never wanted war with the Russians. Before this war started in 2014, we saw the Russians as a brotherly people. We were wrong. We were mistaken. And that mistake will never be committed again. Slava Ukraini! Slava Nacii! Україна! 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 Героям України тричі! Ворогам України тричі! And now, my friends, we will have a short musical break.
But it's got to be more